everyone, welcome back to our channel Imaginary Engineering. In this video we are going to see user registration, login, authentication using the JWT token. If you haven't watched my previous videos, so I will recommend you watch that video. First I will show you this database. Here we don't have the user table. We will start with the user table. First I will go to the models component and we will create a user schema. So let's create a file user.js. First I will require the mongoose const mongoose equal to require. Then we will define the variable user schema. This is basically the table schema for the user. What are the fields, what are the columns you want in that table, here we will mention. I will make the timestamp true. This is the created and updated date. Here you can see this is because of that timestamp we make it true. Then I want a column email and password. Type will be string and these fields are required, so I will make it required true. And also I want this email must be the unique, so I will make the unique property true. Now second field is password. Type will be string, so I will copy this and require true. Now we are done, so let's export this model dot export mongoose dot model and we will pass our user schema. This user will become our table name. Now we'll go to our routes folder and here I will create a new route for the user. We'll copy this and paste it here. Then I am removing this recipes method, we don't need it here. Then we'll export this router. Let's define the routes for the user. First one is a post. For the add the new user, we'll say /signup and pass the method user signup. We haven't created that method yet, we will see. First we will define all the routes, then another post method for the login and we'll pass the method user login. Then another route for the get route to get the information about the individual user. /user/id we will pass in URL and pass the method get user. So now let's define that these methods in our controller, user controller. First I will create the user controller, call it user.js. So let's define the method user signup. I will make it async. It will take the request and response as a parameter. Then we have the other two methods, so let me copy paste and rename this method name user login, and then we have the get user method. Then I will export this method so we can use it in our routes folder. User login, user signup and get user. We will require that method here, so we can use it here. Equal to, inside the controller we have the user.js file, not model, sorry, controller. We define that method. Now so we'll go to the user.js here and first we will see this user sign up. So we'll destructure that request body. We will get the email and password from request body. Then we check if that email and password is empty or not. it should not be empty. This is the required field. So first we check if it is empty or not. If it is empty, then we will simply send the response with status 400 bad request and we'll pass the message. Email and password can't be empty. It's required. Now next we will check if that user is already exist in our database. For that we are using the method find. So first we need to require the user schema from the models. We have the user schema, so we'll say inside the model folder we have the user dot find one method, and we will pass our email. It will return the user if it is present. If user is present, then we will say email is already exist, that user is already exist. Error message, email is already exist. Now next, if both the condition fails, if the email and password is given and user is not already exist in database, so we will create the new user. And before that we are not saving the password, plain password, we will hash password. So for that we will install the package npm I bcrypt. So it will generate the hash password and then we will save in database. And also I will install the one more package for the authentication. It will generate the token npm I JSON web token. JSON web token we will install. Now let's require this bcrypt and JSON web token. JWT equal to require JSON web token. Now next we will generate the hash password and store it one variable. Let's say hash pwd equal to await bcrypt has a method called hash, and it will take two things. First one is a password and second one is the salt number of rounds that we want to generate. Here you can see salt will generate with the specified number of rounds. Now next we will create the user in database. Let's say new user equal to await users dot create method, and we will pass our email and password. For the password we will store the hash password that we have generated using the bcrypt. Now next we will generate the token using the JSON web token. Token is store it in one variable. JWT has one method sign, and here we will send the payload. If I show you in the website, this is the jwt.io. Here this token has a three part. First one is the header, then second one is a payload, and third one is a signature. You can see. Now we go back here, and here we will pass the payload. In payload I want the email and user ID, so I will send the email and user ID. User is new user dot underscore ID. Now next we need to pass the secret key. So let's go to the .env and create a variable secret key. I am giving the name Kirti12345. Sorry, I will copy this and come back to our routes user, and here we will pass our secret key process.env.secret key. we will get the token, and also we can specify the duration, expired duration. Here 1 hour, I'm not giving this, you can specify that also. Then we will return the response, the token, and new user that is created. Sending the JSON response, token, and user. So we are done with this. Here we are sending the 200 JSON response. So let's go to our client and check that, test this API. But before that, go to the server and add this user route slash. I'm just giving the slash, and require, we have the user route from the route folder. Now next we will test our this API. Make a new request. Yeah, our app is running on 5000 and our endpoint is sign up. Change the method to post. Let me remove this, and we will pass the email and password. So let's say email is git2@gmail.com and password, let's say 12345. Click on send. Here we are getting the response, one token and user. Here if I show you, here we are sending the token and user. Here you can see the password is hash password, not easily able to read. Now I am copying this token we have generated and paste it here. Here inside the payload you can see the payload that we have sent while generating the token. This is the payload we have sent, email git2@gmail.com. Now if I make any changes in this payload, then token will be changed. Here you can see token will be changed if I made any changes in payload. So user cannot make any changes in payload. This is the sign up. Now next we will see the user login. So first I will copy these things. This will be the similar. We check that email and password field is empty or not. Then second we will check if that user is exist or not. We use the find one method and pass our email. Email is unique. If you remember, we make the unique property true. Then we will check if that user is present. Then we will compare our hash password that we have stored in our database. Bcrypt has one method, compare. We will pass the password and hash password that we have stored in our database, user.password. It will return the true or false. It will compare the password and return the result. Now if it is true, then we will generate the token and return the response, token and user. Otherwise, in else part we will just simply say invalid credential. We will make the status 400 and error message we will give invalid credentials. Now we are done, so let's test this. But before that, if you see here, this there is a user. We have stored the data in our user, so let me correct it. It's not user. Here we have used the user. So let's go to here. Now we will test the login. Click on send. Here I am getting the response 200, token and user. If I make any changes in password, wrong password I am giving, and I am getting the error invalid credentials, means it's working fine. Now we go back. If I refresh, here you can see the user table. Inside that we have one user that we have added, git2@gmail.com. Now we will see this get user. We will get the user info by ID. We will using the method find by ID. We will simply pass the user ID request params.id. it will fetch the ID from the URL, and then we will return the user info. I just want to return the email, don't want to return the password, we don't need it, so just email I will return as a response. So here is the path user/id. Let me copy this user ID. We'll go to our, now here I will /user and user ID get method and click on the send. Here we get the response email get2@gmail.com. All the things is working properly. This is the backend part. Now we will see the front end. We will create the login page and registration page. Let me close all this. Inside the SRC components, we will create the pop-up one module dialog box where we can log in and register. So here I am creating the model.jsx component. First we'll create the function model. Inside that we'll add a div, class name, backdrop. As I have mentioned earlier, you don't need to worry about this class name. We already have all the classes in our app.css. So this dialog element, it will take one property open, so it will open the pop-up. Now we go to the navbar and define one hook is open. So basically this will store the information to open the pop-up or not. Initially it will be false, and when we click on the login, then we will make it true, and then it will open the pop-up for the login. We'll define one method check login, and inside that we'll make this set is open true. Here then I will add the model and I will put it in the condition. Here we'll check if that is open true, then only we will render this model component. Now we go here, if I click on the login, you can see the pop-up is open. Here I will add a h1 tag, let's say hello. Here you can see this pop-up is open but not able to close it. So go back here, and I want when I click anywhere outside that pop-up dialog box, then it will be closed. So I'm here, I'm passing one prop on close, and we'll make the set is open false, so it will be close that pop-up. Here inside the model we will receive the prop on close and backdrop. Here I'm calling the on click on the backdrop, and basically when we click anywhere outside the pop-up, it will close that pop-up. So here you can see I click on outside, then it will close the pop-up. Now next, inside the component I will create a new file, input form, for the our email password field input field we will define here for the login and registration. I will use the same page for the login and registration. So let's define the form, class name, I will give the form. Then we have the two fields here, one for the email and another for the password. Giving the class name form control, label, first one is email, then input, type will be email, adding the class name input, and make this field required because this email is required. Now next I am copying this and paste it for the password. Now type will be password, and this field is also required. Then we will add the button, submit button. So type will be submit, and here I will say login. Then we will give the link. If user don't have the account and create the new account, so we will give the create new account. User click on that and convert this login button into the sign up. So first we go to the navbar, and here I am passing that input form as a child to this model component. Here I am passing this input form as a child to model component. We go to this model, and here accepting the prop children, removing this hello, and I will pass the children here. So this is basically our input form. So now we'll go back to browser. Here I click on, here you can see email and password. Let me add a new line after the login button. Now here it looks good. So let's go back to our VS Code. Now this form tag, we will add the event on submit, and we will pass the method on handle submit. When user click on that submit, this event will be fired. So let's define that method handle on submit. We'll call the e.preventDefault. Then I will define the hook for the email to store the email. When user enter the email, we will store that in this variable. Initially this will be empty string. I will change the type to password for the password. Now next we have the password. So we will define one hook use state. Initially it will be empty string. Then we will add the onChange event for the email. Whenever user enter any email, it will change the, we will update the email. We will call the set email and pass the e.target.value. And same we will do for the password. Adding the onChange event and updating the password. Call the set password and pass e.target.value. Now if I show you, this email and password must be matched. Here inside this models we have the user schema. This email and password must be matched with the table columns. Now next, if I click on the login, here you can see when I try to type, it automatically close, that pop-up automatically close. So here I have made the mistake. I will close that div before the dialog. Yeah, now I am able to type. So next, when I click on this create new account, this button will convert into the sign up. So let's go to our input form and define one hook use state is login. We will check if user want to login or sign up. Initially it will be false. Here when user click on this create new account, we will make this is sign up true, and also we will change this message. If is sign up is true, then we will say already have an account, and if it is false we will say create new account. And here also we will give the login or sign up option. So we check if is login, so we will show the is sign up text, otherwise we will say login. So let's go to the browser. I will show you this. So when I log in, click on this create new account, that button converted to the sign up. If I click on this already have an account, this button should convert into the login, but nothing is happening because here I have made the mistake. Instead of true we will get the previous value and negate that. If it is false then it will become the true. Now here if I click on this create new account, this sign up button, now login button, it's working fine. Now next what we will do, here on handle submit we will make the post request. So first we'll define the one variable. So here we check is login is true or false. If it is true we will say sign up, otherwise we will say login. This is the endpoint. If I show you in our backend user routes, here we have the endpoints for sign up and login. This is our endpoint. So next I will import the Axios from Axios. Await. I will make that function async, then Axios.post method, and then we will pass our URL here. If I go to the Thunder client, here this is our URL. I will copy this and paste it here slash, and I will put this in a backtick so we can pass the endpoint. Now next we will pass the data, email, password, dot then we will receive the response. It will generate the token and user. Then we will store that token and user in local storage. We will set the item token response.data.token we will get, and we will store it in the token variable in local storage, and also we will store the user. First we will convert into the JSON.stringify, and then we will store the user in local storage. Here if I show you the response, let's check the login URL, post, then I will enter the correct password. Here we are getting this token and user in response. I am storing that token and user in local storage. Now also we want to close that form when user click on the login. So here we passing the prop set is open, we will make it false, so it will close that pop-up. Here I will accept that prop set is open, and simply we will call that function here, so it will close the pop-up. Once this API is successful, then it will close the pop-up. Now if we get any error, then we will handle in catch block. For that we will store that error message. We will create one hook, you state error, initially that value of this empty string, then we will update the value, if we get any error, we will say data.response.data.error. If I show you this, let's go to the user controller. Here you can see if user enter any wrong password and email, we will get the error invalid credentials. This is the error message we will send. Now here I am simply displaying the error. We will display this. If there is error, I will put it in the condition here. If error is not equal to empty, then we will render this. Now let's go back to our browser. Click on login. Here I am getting the 0, because this and sign. Now let's go back to the browser. Now it's working fine. Let me inspect and go to the local storage. Currently we don't have anything in our local storage, and if you remember, we have the one user git2@gmail.com and password. I'm entering the wrong password, so I'm getting the error invalid credentials. Then if I enter the correct password, here I'm getting the token and user. It's saved in our database. Here you can see. Now again, if I create the new user, so let me create the new user, puja@gmail.com. Enter the password, click on sign up. Here token is saved, but user we are getting the undefined. So let's go to the VS Code. Something went wrong. So inside this, when we add here, we return the response new user. Okay, actually we are returning the JSON response new user, but we call it as a response data.user. So we will store that user data in user variable. So user. Now let me refresh, and again I am creating the new user, entering the email and password. Click on login. Now you can see we get the token and user, and here we have the two user right now in our database. So let me log in again using the puja@gmail.com. If I try to sign up using the same email, then it showing the message, error message, email is already exist. Now for that my recipe favorites, then we will add the path. For that, let me add the path for the my recipe, and now we will render into the home page. I will add the another path for the favorites. It will show the all the favorite recipes. Now we come back to our new bar. Here I will add the new link so we can redirect. Here I am giving the path / so we'll redirect to the home page. Then we have the my recipe. Let me copy this new link and then change this into the favorite recipe. Let me change the text also. We'll redirect into the my recipe and favorite recipe. Let me put this login into the p tag and give the class name login. Now here we go, and if I click on this my recipe, here you can see URL is changing. Yes, URL is changing. So what we want when user is not login, so user won't be able to redirect to this page my recipe favorite. We will open the login pop-up dialog box when user is not login. So here we will go to our navbar, and first I will get the token from the local storage. So let's create one variable token, local storage dot get item. We store the token in our local storage. So first we get the token, then we'll create the use state to hold our value if that user is login or not. So we'll say is login and set is login function equal to use state. First we check if the token is there, means user is login, so we will make it false, otherwise we will make it true. Now I will change this login value. We will dynamically add it. Currently I have hard coded this value. So first we will check is login variable. If is login true, that means user want to login, otherwise we'll say logout. Now inside this check login, first we will check if the token is there or not. If token is there, that means user is login and user want to log out. So we will remove the token from the local storage, and also I will remove the user. Now user want to log out, so we will remove the local storage, and also we will update this is login. We will make it true, so it will show the login option. And now if token is not there, that means user want to login, and it will open the pop-up window, login pop-up window. So I will add the one use effect here, and we will pass the token as a dependency. So every time token is changed, so we will call update this set is token, set is login, and we'll check if the token is there, so we will make it false, otherwise it will be true. Now let me open the inspect network tab, application local storage. Currently I will clear all the things and login using the kitto@gmail.com, password 12345. Click on login. Here you can see we have the token and user in our local storage. Now I am able to redirect, but this is not what we want. So let's go to our VS Code, and here we will add the condition. I will put this in curly braces. Here we check is login. If user is login, then only we will redirect to this my recipe, otherwise we will redirect to home page. For favorite recipe also we will check if user is login, then only we will redirect, otherwise will redirect to the home page. Now here I will add the on click event. So here we will check is login is true or false. If it is true, then we will open the pop-up to login. Similarly we will done for the favorites. If it is true, then we will open the pop-up box to login. So let me refresh. Currently user is not login, and if I go to the my recipe, it will open the pop-up to login. Now let me add the email and password and click on the login. You can see this login button changed into the logout, and now I am able to redirect to my page, my favorite recipes. We are able to redirect to these pages, so means it's working fine. So in this video we have seen how user can register, login, then generate the JWT token. So in this next video we will see how we can verify the token. So let's watch. Thank you.